Human Services Committee to order and begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The first order of business is with the Department of Social Services. Suann.
Good morning.
Again, Suann, you have again provided us with a very in-depth report, and believe me, it's much appreciated.
Well, thank you very much. So for those of you who don't know, April is Child Abuse Prevention Month. And in honor of Child Abuse Prevention Month, I'd like to read to you a story. In front of you, you have a picture. I've placed a picture, and I would like to introduce you to Mary Ellen by way of this story. Mary Ellen was born in March of 1864, date unknown. She's a child abuse survivor. So her story goes like this. She was the first child abuse case to be heard and decided in a court of law. Mary Ellen was also known later by her adoptive name, Mary Ellen McCormick. She was the only child of Thomas Wilson and Frances Fanny Connor Wilson in the Hell's Kitchen section of New York. When she was about 6 months old, her father died in the Second Battle of Cold Harbor in Virginia during the American Civil War, leaving her mother to care for her alone. As a widow of a Union soldier, Frances received $2 weekly, but it was not enough to support herself and her child. She became a laundress and boarded the infant Mary Ellen out, a common practice in those days. When her mother lost her job, she was unable to pay for her daughter's care and turned her over to an orphanage on Blackwell's Island Penitentiary, now Roosevelt Island, New York. A short time later, her mother returned to visit her, but she was told by the caretaker that the 2-year-old toddler had died. A Manhattan couple, Mary and Thomas McCormick, had adopted her illegally from the Department of Charities, and within a short time, her new father died unexpectedly. Thomas had signed a document stating that she would become an indentured servant until the age of 18. Grief-stricken and overburdened, the mother began abusing her almost immediately. As soon as she was capable enough, she was forced to clean dishes, do sewing, and other chores by her adoptive mother. She was never allowed to play, look out the windows, or bin on the street in front of her home. Her clothing was the barest minimum, and she remarked once that she had never worn flannel. There were articles of clothing in the room, a dress, a skirt, and stockings, but she was never allowed to wear them, and she had no shoes. At this time, Mary McCormick remarried Francis Connolly. When he would leave for work in the mornings, her adoptive mother would beat her for as long as 15 minutes daily, or until the mother grew tired. On Easter Sunday, the Connollys left her alone and locked her in her room until after dark. Several neighbors heard crying, whimpering, and sounds that could only be abuse of a child. Mary Smith's home was next to the McCormick home, and she was able to hear crying, whimpering, and wailing, and what she thought were whippings. Since she was an invalid and unable, she asked mission worker Etta Wheeler to investigate. Seeing the bruises and scars, Wheeler sought police help, but was turned away because there were no child protection laws at the time, and the state could not get involved. Several people noticed the child, but they were told they could not interfere. Mary Connolly once told neighbors that her husband wanted to put the child in an asylum, but they were given a fortune to keep the child. Etta's progress was slow. Angered and inspired, Wheeler sought the help of Henry Berg, the founder of the ASPCA. Berg's plan was to use the laws that protect animals to stop the cruel treatment of her. He hired lawyer Eldridge Gerry, the grandson of Governor Eldridge Gerry of Massachusetts, who took the case to the New York Supreme Court. He sent a New York Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals worker posing as a census taker to check on her condition and be a witness. Once the evidence had been obtained, it took only 48 hours to remove her from the home. When carried into the courtroom wrapped in a blanket on April 10, 1874, 10-year-old Mary Ellen was hysterical and feared her mother would punish her. She held a peppermint stick that the police officers gave to calm her. During the trial, Judge Abraham Lawrence brought her into the courtroom and listened to her testimony that was published in the next day's New York Times. "My father and mother are both dead. I don't know how old I am. I have no recollection of a time when I did not live with the Connollys. Mama has been in the habit of whipping and beating me almost every day. She used to whip me with a twisted whip, a rawhide. She also reported specific injuries which she received from Mary McCormick. I have now on my head 2 black and blue marks which were made by Mama with the whip, and a cut on the left side of my forehead which was made by a pair of scissors in Mama's hands. She struck me with the scissors and cut me. I never dared to speak to anyone because if I did, I would get whipped. Investigations and testimony revealed her abuse, malnourishment, confinement in a dark and locked room, ill-clothed in winter, made to sleep on a carpet on the floor, forbidden to go outdoors except at night and only in her own yard, beaten with a cane and a whip of twisted leather. On April 21st, 1874, after 20 minutes of deliberation, Mary Connolly was found guilty of felony assault and battery and sentenced to 1 year at hard labor in the penitentiary. The court was fully satisfied that she had been guilty of wanton cruelty. Recorder Hackett addressing Mary Connolly, said he would have preferred the higher charge, not only as punishment to her, but as a warning to others. Many people from varying stations in life expressed concern for her, with one newspaper article saying, "She's a bright little girl with features indicating unusual mental capacity, but with a careworn, stunted, and prematurely old look." After the case, she was sent to live in a home for delinquent teenagers, but that did not last. Etta Wheeler took it upon herself to raise Mary Ellen with her mother and sister in North Chill, New York. At the age of 24, she married widower Louis Schutt and his 3 children, and she went on to have 2 daughters of her own, Etta, named after Etta Wheeler, and Florence. She had lived in such an abnormal environment that she had to be acclimated to her new life conditions. She had to learn how to walk on grass because she'd never walked on uneven surfaces like rocks, grass, and pavement. She had never seen grass, flowers, or trees. She did not know how to play and never had a toy. Living with Etta and her family, she had to learn manners and right and wrong of civilized life. She also learned about God through religious instruction. Mary Ellen lived a relatively normal, uneventful life afterward and rarely spoke of the early years of the abuse. She attended one American Humane Association conference in 1913 and watched as Etta spoke about child protection and her case. Many admired Mary Ellen and held her in high esteem, and by all accounts, she lived quite happily to the age of 92. Her landmark case led Berg, Jerry, and John D. Wright to found the New York Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Children, the first of its kind in the world, with more to soon follow. Mary Ellen's case was the catalyst that opened the door to change in the field of child protection. So that's Mary Ellen's story, and I just wanted to kind of share that in Children's Services, we honor Mary Ellen's memory every day. It's because of her that the prevention models, foster care, and child preventive services exist today. I'd also like to share a few statistics. According to the National Statistics on Child Abuse, in 2015, an estimated 1,670 children died from abuse and neglect in the U.S. Nearly 700,000 children are abused in the U.S. annually. CPS protects more than 3 million children. In Essex County alone, we investigate more than 600 cases a year. The youngest and the disabled children were the most vulnerable to maltreatment. Children in the first year of their life had the highest victimization of 24.2 per 1,000 children in the national population of the same age. Neglect is the most common form of maltreatment, and about 4 out of 5 abusers are the victim's parents. I thought there was going to be a pinwheel garden out front. There still may be, but I just wanted to let you know what that means if you see pinwheels around the community. In 2008, Prevent Child Abuse America introduced these pinwheels as a new national symbol for child abuse. They serve as a reminder that we all play a role in the lives of children and that our most basic obligation is to support the healthy development of our nation's children. Children who are raised in supportive and stable environments are more academically and financially successful, and great childhoods help children grow into productive, contributing adults who help their community and our country be prosperous and competitive in the global economy. Research conducted by Prevent Child Abuse America estimates that implementing effective policies and strategies to prevent child abuse and neglect can save taxpayers $80 billion a year. The cost of not doing this is measured in increased costs for foster care services, hospitalizations, mental health treatment, and law enforcement, as well as loss of individual productivity and expenditures related to chronic health problems, special education, and the justice system. Today, I would like to thank and acknowledge the Essex County DSS staff for the hard work and commitment they share to protect the safety and well-being of our children and families every day. Please join me in thanking all of them for the very important work they do. Many of them are sitting in the gallery. And I just want to add that I'm proud of the work that each and every one of you do every day. I really am. I'm proud to work with all of you. Our preventive programs are as strong as our community partnerships, as well as our staff. I'd like to acknowledge our community partners: Essex County Mental Health, Families First, Essex County Public Health, Essex County District Attorney's Office and the Multidisciplinary Team, the Youth Advocate Program, Adirondack Community Action Programs, the United Way, St. Joseph's Rehabilitation Center, OPWW, and the many that I know I've missed. It is the collaboration and teamwork of all of these partners that makes prevention as successful as it is in Essex County. We hope that during this very important month of April that you'll join us in making others aware of child abuse prevention by wearing blue on Fridays throughout April. And in front of you, you each have a blue ribbon. And I thank you for entertaining my comments, but I just have one additional personal note to the board. Because this is likely to be the last time that I come before this board, I'd like to take the opportunity to publicly thank you all. Thank you for taking the time to get to know me over the past several months and for allowing me to get to know you. Thank you for sharing your concerns and for listening to mine. Although it's only been a week since Mike Mascarenas was appointed to be our new commissioner, I can tell you that I'm hopeful and excited for the future of Essex County Department of Social Services. He's shared some of his thoughts and ideas and has invited mine. I believe we share many of the same values and concerns for the department, as well as some of the same goals moving forward. I'm confident that he will do great things for this county and for this department, and I'm excited to be part of what I know will be a positive future. Thank you.
A comparison of where we were with the story in regards to the young lady that you presented today and today is related to the laws that are in place, specifically in education, whereby nurses and principals can be brought to court if they do not report situations of neglect. Also, I believe most people are very much aware of what goes on in their communities and with their neighbors and are willing to notify the agencies involved when they are witnessing abuse and neglect. So we've come a long ways. Tom?
Yes, I want to personally thank Sue Ann. I have learned more from you than I've learned in 30 years out here in regards to social services. And your reports are excellent. They certainly show a whole new light on the situations that your staff deals with on a daily basis. And I want to thank you. You have finally really opened up the lines of communications between this board and that department.
Moving on, mental health. Steve Valley has been excused, and you do have a monthly report. Public health.
Good morning. I
I have some resolutions to get through. Susan Allett is handing out my report, hot off the press. I'm going to just follow the agenda closely. I have a resolution authorizing a decrease in revenue and appropriations in the amount of $500 of DSRIP funds.
A motion to that effect? Mr. Giordano, a second. Mr. Marinell, any questions or concerns? A second by Mr. Scarpa. Any questions or concerns? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried.
Now I'd like to ask Christine Carpenter to come up. I'd like to recognize Christine Carpenter today as a resolution of congratulations of appreciation. So I'm going to have Christine come up. I don't need to ask more formally. I'm sorry. I'm just going to read this resolution. Ms. Carpenter, as a resident of Westport, has been faithful public servant to the people of Essex County through her position as a licensed professional nurse for Essex County Health Department since 1992. Whereas Christine was hired during Governor Cuomo's proclaimed Decade of the Child, when health care and education initiatives were created to improve the lives of children in New York State. Whereas during her tenure, she provided services to the following programs: women, infant, and children, vaccine, preventable diseases, rabies, lead poisoning prevention, fall prevention, and car passenger safety. And whereas Christine's prioritized the health and welfare and safety of Essex County infants, children, teens, parents, grandparents, seniors, and even household canines and felines. Whereas Christine is willing to travel to the furthest reaches of this county to provide services in varied weather conditions, often bumpy roads, and whereas Christine has administered more vaccine than the total of vaccines administered by all public health nurses in Essex County. Whereas Christine has served as the backup coordinator for Immunization Action Plan, and whereas Christine is recognized by her local colleagues as a knowledgeable and trusted resource with whom it has been a privilege to work as. Be it resolved that Essex County Board of Supervisors, its clerk of the board, county manager, county attorney, hereby extend their appreciation and heartfelt thanks to Christine Carpenter for her dedicated, conscientious, exemplary public service to the people of Essex County, and wish her continued success upon her retirement, and best of luck in her future endeavors. Thank you, Linda.
I just have to say it's been a great experience working for Essex County, and I've met many, many people that I've just enjoyed. I see Chrissy here, Office of the Aging, our Well Baby clinics. I still see some of those kids who have grown up that when I started giving them shots, probably, and they do remember. Shocking. So, and I think I might have given some of you some shots. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Linda.
You will.
We need a resolution for congratulations and appreciation to Christine Carpenter by Sean. And a second.
Thank you so much. The next is to apply for an Aetna Foundation Cultivating Healthy Communities grant in the domain of built environment. I'm just asking to try to apply for this grant. I'm not sure. Susan Allett thinks there's a good chance we could get for it. We'd be eligible for $50,000 to $100,000 for an 18 to 24-month timeline for projects related to healthy food marketing, bicycling, pedestrian safety, breastfeeding-friendly workplaces. If we got it, this money would trickle into towns. So I'm asking permission just to write the grant.
A resolution to that effect by Mr. Giordano and a second by Sean Gilliland. Any questions or concerns? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Carried.
Okay. The next one might be a resolution that you've never seen before. As you're aware that I work closely with the DSRIP, which is the redesign of Medicaid. They have lots of funding out there for retention and recruitment. We recently, with board approval, took DSRIP monies and educated one of our nurses to what's called a WOCN nurse, which is a wound ostomy incontinence nurse. Just to give you an idea, she has to do preceptorship. She can't stay even in the state of New York because there isn't one around here. We're going to send her to Vermont. The closest is potentially Glens Falls, and we're working with them right now. But that's the closest WOC nurse, WOC nurse in this area. That being said, I'm concerned about retention once she gets certified in being it. I have seen, and it's been done by many other agencies, that they offer a retention initiative. So again, this is money from the Adirondack Health Institute to create a workforce body that would stay in Essex County. So I'm asking for the nature of the request, and again, I'm not sure I'm going to get this, but nothing ventured, nothing gained. The home health unit is requesting pre-approval to apply for retention funds to offer partial tuition reimbursement to our WOCN nurse in the amount of $20,000. The Essex County Health Department seeks $20,000 as a retention incentive to be given in the form of tuition reimbursement for students' loans occurring while earning a bachelor's degree in science of nurse. I worked with Dan Manning. He would write a contract for her. She would not get the money all up front. She would get it over a 2-year period. He would write the increments, and in fact, if she left us, I would only get the money when I submitted to AHI. Again, this is zero money out of Essex County. It's a way to keep this fabulous nurse. You might know her. Her dad owns the Sunoco station on the corner here for years. Rich Rich's daughter. It's Kelly. She's vested in this community, but to be fair, when she graduates from this course, she could make double practically what we will pay here in Essex County, but she wants to stay. And I've been told by many other hospitals that they would love to have her already. So this is one way to equalize the debt that she already has in getting her bachelor's, and would release a lot of financial burden to her. It's specific to this position. There's not another one in Essex County. There's not another one in the entire region, and there's no other union title of this. And again, I don't know that I will get it. I would write a proposition or resolution, request to AHI to see if they would fund this request.
Motion to activate this resolution. Mr. Giordano, a second. Discuss follow.
Okay.
Questions or concerns?
What is the position again, WO?
It's an RN that went back to school and became a wound ostomy colostomy nurse. So one of our largest readmissions to the hospital are recurring wounds, especially diabetic wounds. This nurse has a specialized level of care. Just to give you an idea, so we have dressings that we change every single day. When you become a WOC, I call her a WOC, I shouldn't say that, is WOCN nurse, they are skilled in the newest of treatments, so they can take a daily wound dressing and change it to an every 3-day wound dressing by applying the right bandages, by going out and meeting the doctor. So we would use her to assess people all over our county with the hardest and the most complicated wounds. She's already started doing it. On top of that, she comes back and educates our staff continually every time she takes a new class.
We have no one in this position currently?
Never have had anybody in this position. It's never existed.
So,
Other questions?
yeah, I'm not finished yet. So is this position has to be created, I'm assuming, to...
When she gets licensed, we would do an open position. We have the money in my budget now.
So she's currently an employee with the county?
Absolutely. She's an RN. She's a registered nurse. I came to you and asked you to approve, and you did approve for funding to send her to school on DSRIP funding to become a wound ostomy colostomy nurse. And so...
Right. I'm just playing the devil's advocate here. So what happens if we have another RN that decides that they'd like to also do this position?
Well, there is no other nurse that could apply.
But if another RN came and said, you know what, I'm interested in doing this also.
So before I opened it up, the job was posted for a position in allowing any nurse that was able or capable to apply to be this wound ostomy nurse when I got the scholarship.
We've already covered that.
So you also have to have bachelor's degree in nursing.
Yeah.
And I don't, at this time, the people that had it were not interested in applying. This person goes to school at night on their own time. We're not paying for any of that.
I understand that. I just,
know.
before we open the door, I want to
I
make
agree.
certain that everyone in your department that would qualify has been offered the same opportunity as
Yes.
this one individual.
Agreed, yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. And again, this isn't about this opportunity. This is me going to an organization that has tons of money, and they will fight for this nurse against me, just to be clear. I mean, they can ask for funds to recruit her once I get her certified.
Any other questions? Mr. Scazzavalla?
No, Mr.
Okay,
Terry.
thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Terry. So this WOCN nurse, are there any other postgraduate specializations that you foresee, within the department you may need, occupational therapy or anything else like that?
Yeah, well, I'm hiring, or we have an ad out right now for an occupational therapist. We're lucky we have several that applied, so I'm excited to move forward. But no more further training. Again, I would never have done this. This has been completely 100% paid for because we're in a unique situation about the redesign of Medicaid. And so Adirondack Health Institute has been given a lot of money in the millions to realign this upstate New York.
I hear that. I'm just worried about if, this is a one-off right now on this one, and then it'll establish precedents. So, do we
Well, if there was another-
establish a policy within the county on reimbursing tuition for postgraduate education in health or other disciplines?
Understand?
This is specifically for a specialization. I mean, this is not just an everyday run-of-the-mill type of thing.
Correct.
This is reimbursements that's available by the state.
Correct.
Or reimbursement for someone who's willing to take an initiative to go on and get additional training in a
Correct.
particular...
And they would not give me retention money for an RN, or, this is because it's so sought after. Same way for the psychiatrist. This is equal to that level in the sense that there's so few of them.
What were the statistics anyways on those who have qualified for WOCN? You said it's few and far between in terms
Right,
of...
so I'm going to tell you, we looked at the area hospitals from Saranac Lake to even CVPH. CVPH had a woundostomy colostomy nurse, and they left and went to UVM. So that's the only, so this person has to do a preceptorship, and there is nobody up here to do it with. We are looking at potentially sending them to Glens Falls Hospital, which they will allow, which is fabulous, and there's one woman there that is this level nurse, or we have to send her to Vermont, which causes a whole thing because you have to be certified as a Vermont nurse. So we're trying to do that. And Kelly's been willing to travel all over to get this stuff done. It's really quite remarkable. Yeah?
So, I'm sorry, so Kelly wasn't an applicant and you didn't have any other applicants, you would not be
Correct.
bringing this before
Correct.
the board anyway, so...
Yes, correct.
Mr. Mondo?
What's the retention schedule, Linda? How long do they have to lock in for?
Well, we were thinking 2 years.
We're hoping at least 2.
Yeah. Well, the reason is because it's tuition reimbursed, she'll have to continually pay it if that's one of the things, and there's a lot of data which I can provide to you. The DSRIP showed a lot of data that one of the reasons that people don't retain at a job, even though they like it, is when people offer them more money is because of college debt. It's an immediate need. She's young and she has a small child. And so this immediate need of paying back this college loan won't be there 5 years from now if she has to pay it back. I mean, I don't know how long her loan is for. I'm not opposed to looking longer. Dan Manning suggested this repayment schedule to me.
So you set the...
Well, I said it.
You set the schedule.
Correct. As far as the DSRIP's concerned, they'll give me $20,000.
That's it, they'll give you $20,000 one time?
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm asking for. I proposed that. It seems in line with other ones I've seen. I mean, I could have asked for 30. I mean, she was 32, but I didn't. Sorry.
I believe Dan has something.
Again, in terms of whether you're concerned about setting a precedent that other people may avail themselves of, that's only going to occur under the same conditions. So in other words, if and when DESRA proposes additional funding for these kinds of things as a retention clause, and we can apply for it, then you could consider it at that time for any position, regardless of what it is, as long as it fits the guidelines in which DESRA is going to provide the funding. So you're not you're not opening that door for anything else in terms of county funding because it's not funded by county money. So another person could come to you and say, I would like you to pay my tuition as well, but the county itself is not paying the tuition. It's based strictly on DESRIP's funding of this program as a retention and recruitment feature. And truthfully, I don't know how much longer DESRIP money is going to be around. It's Medicaid redesign. Honestly, Trump is looking at cutting back Medicaid, especially to the states. So whether this continues as a program or not, I don't know. But I don't think you have a concern with it being open door for anyone else. At this point, it's something the county clearly needs. One of these people that sits on this board needed that kind of service. So it's just, if you think about it, that's one of the things that is important that our public health department have. So I think it justifies doing this because it provides with somebody at least that can provide that service. Is there any guarantee how long that'll last? Probably not. But it is at least a good start to getting that covered that we need.
Tom, you have other concerns?
Well, it's not a concern, but just a recollection. I believe that we have done this in the past. In fact, we did it in mental health, I believe, many years ago.
We did it. We did actually. We did some programs out of course 9 with funding for changing LPNs, RNs. So it's not some realm possibility that we've done this. It's been done in different forms.
Right.
So again, but it's always based upon getting the funding from someone else.
Thank you.
Other questions? Mr. Marno?
Not a question, just a comment that I think it'd be push forward and we do whatever we have to do to continue, because I personally know 3 people in Schroon Lake, in a little town like that, and there's probably 3 more that I don't even know about.
Right.
But I know sometimes they have to be taken by ambulance several times.
All the time. Right. It's a real common recurring, open ones.
Any other questions?
Just one. If it didn't come before this board, how else would someone be able to take advantage of this incentive that the state's making available?
They'd have to be in a medical agency that has a contract to agree in practices with DSRIP. So we signed a master agreement that said, I would DSRIP, Steve Valley DSRIPs, Chrissy Lurkey's DSRIPs. We have master agreements, which also means we show up at meetings and we give input and we tell them about our county and we tell them about our problems and our concerns here. They would never have funded the WOCN nurse if they didn't realize the need in the area. If I wasn't there, then we wouldn't get it. That's
But ultimately, none of it happens unless just board approves it.
Right, because otherwise it just sits there in the coffers of state and just...
Goes to somebody else.
Yeah,
who's
right.
willing to approve it.
Correct.
Most assuredly, all of your questions and concerns have been presented and answered. Any other questions in regards to this resolution? There being none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried.
Okay. The next one is a policy and procedure from our Public Health FAC Committee. It went through our medical director, and we have policies and procedures, and they'll be out on your on your table to review. So again, this is a resolution adopting the improving quality improvement review and policies and procedure from the preventive services at our PAC meeting.
Resolution by Mr. Scott-Father, and the second, please. Mr. Giordano, questions or concerns? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried.
Okay, the other resolution is exactly what you asked me earlier. Our hospital to home care is one of the initiatives for DSRIP because we signed a master agreement, because we follow our data, because we participate in their agreements. They have awarded us $29,325 this county would not have had by any other means as an incentive for our engagement in their program. So I have a resolution to accept the monies for engagement to the hospital to home care collaboration for our home health agency in the amount of $29,325, and that's just because we came to the table and participated.
Endorsement of this resolution by Mr. Mayhew, a second. By Mr. McNally. Questions or concerns? There being none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried.
And I would like to call, I just handed out my report. I wanted to call attention to the Essex County Department of Health has rebranded, and I'm sorry, I had a resolution to accept our rebranding in there. Did I do it?
I listed it.
I'm sorry. It is, right, I know, but I don't believe I read it. I'm sorry, it went out of order. So to recognize the rebranding. So on your flyer, what we did was we dropped public out of it. So we have a new swishy E that says Essex County, it says the Health Department, and under each one is a public health unit, the Home Unit, Children's Services Unit, WIC, and the Office for the Aging Coordinated Care underneath, as they always were, in separate but distinct portions. We had a big party last week. I'm sorry you were unable to attend, but we had lots of folks from the community come out and come to our rebranding. So the reason we dropped public from it is because there's always been a connotation that we were giving away something free, that there was people that were getting services that were somehow, entitled to it, and none of those things are further from the truth. Public health is a population health. We look at the population of all of Essex County. So there was great data. We'd spent a lot of time, and so this is our new logo, Essex County Health Department, with the units of public health, home health, children's services, and WIC. So I'm looking for a resolution to accept our new logo, our new branding, and above that it says, branding was also, and Jim, I think you could relate to this, it's part of accreditation, and about having a uniform theme through all of our areas, and accreditation is extremely specific about being united, understanding what your mission and values are, easily identifiable, reflects who you are and what you do, and builds a community presence and supports national public health accreditation efforts.
A resolution to this by Mr. Scarsfava, second by Mr. Giordano. Questions or concerns? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried.
Thank you. I am done.
I have
I'm sorry.
one statement to make in regards to public health and also in regards to the initiatives in Vermont, and that is in regards to smoking.
Tobacco 21.
You know on the news that the Vermont legislature is considering raising the age for smoking from 18 to 21. You are aware of the statistics that was provided to you by Linda Beers. I'm hopeful that perhaps this will become a national effort, and I know that the payback on this will be tremendous.
Right. Under my director's report, you'll find that, and I am a huge component. It's Time to Clear the Air in the North Country is a huge campaign I'm part of, and it's a regional effort above all of our area regions in upstate New York, and Essex County is one of them. Our data's there that gives you an idea what smoking is, and if you take anything away, know that 96% of smokers began smoking before the age of 21, if you want a reason to make it after 21. We can talk about it a whole great length another time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We do this to everybody. We throw these disrupt terms around it. Just so you know, what it really stands for is Delivery System Reform and Incentive Payments. It's a Medicaid-funded program that was specifically designed to incentive people, or health departments and health providers to come up with better ways to deliver services. That's why you're able to do these kinds of programs, because it is based on a request to change essentially how we deliver service. And the purpose of that really was to cut down on hospitalizations, because both the federal government and the state government recognize that it costs much more to put somebody in the hospital than it is to keep them in their own homes.
Yes, thank you.
Any other concerns for public health? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Chrissy Murphy's Office for the Aging.
Good morning. I have no resolutions, but I do want to call your attention to my monthly report that everybody should have in front of you. Two events that we're hosting in May. The first is on May 12th, which is Friday, and this is a Medicare educational event for professionals. So this is going to be able to provide maybe your HR staff, we're inviting DSS staff, we're inviting staff from the hospital, from the billing departments, just to make sure that more people are aware of when you can enroll in the different components of Medicare. Also, we'll have somebody from the Senior Medical Patrol, which is to discuss Medicare fraud. So I'm opening that up to any of your HR staff, or if you guys are interested, just give us a call and we will get you registered. The next event, last year, you may recall, we held a senior celebration at the Champlain Valley Senior Community, which is an assisted living in Willsboro. Last year, we teamed up with them. We brought in a bunch of human services providers and basically held a tabling event. And we had almost 100 individuals from around the county come. So they've asked us again to partner for that event. So that is going to be held on May 31st from 11 to 2. We'll get you an agenda as soon as everything is finalized, but our intent is to make it bigger and better each year. Any questions?
Any other questions or concerns for Chrissy?
Thank you.
Transportation, Nancy Dugal has been excused. There is a resolution authorizing the purchasing agent to award a bid to Garage Equipment Solutions in the amount of $126,532 for a heavy-duty floor jack. A resolution to put this on the floor. Mr. McNally, second by Mr. Merrider. Questions or concerns? Yes, Tom?
Dan, didn't we just purchase a lift for tandems and for the heavy trucks and equipment?
Yeah, we replaced one of our lifts that deal with our trucks specifically. This was grant funding that we had available from transportation to specifically deal with lifts, a lift for the buses themselves.
Thank you.
Mr. Murnau?
This must be a lift, though, not a floor jack.
It is a lift. Why don't we have Jim come up? He can explain it better.
We did replace a lift a year ago, which handles our trucks. It does handle the buses as well. This is actually money that Nancy applied for in 2015, and it took that long for DOT to fully fund the lift. So we'd be replacing another one. It will still work on our trucks and the buses. It will allow us to bring the buses fully inside the enclosed garage with a stationary lift instead of a couple of these portable lifts. So it should work a lot better for us.
Any other questions? Yes, Tom?
So is there a need for it? If we already have one that'll handle it?
We're replacing one of our existing lifts that are from when the building was originally installed as well, Tom.
Didn't we replace that when we put in the one for the tandem?
There's two lifts of that size. We replaced one last year with our funds. We're going to replace the second one with Nancy's funds.
The problem, Tom, is that if that lift is in, the one lift that can do both, if it's in use, then the bus has got to sit, or vice versa. So we end up delaying the repair of something because we can't get it in on a second lift.
Also, this is the monies for this are by a grant, am I correct?
90% of it.
90%.
And the rest of, just so you know, the rest of that funding is already set aside in the reserve account that we set up in transportation for the surplus vehicles that we sell or get rid of. So technically, all of the cost is covered. There is no actual county dollars being used. It's money from surplus from the other buses.
Any other questions or concerns in regards to this resolution? There being none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Carried. The next resolution is authorizing the purchasing agent to purchase a tire changer in the amount of $12,592 from Total Tool. An endorsement of this resolution? Mr. McNally, and a second by Mr. Giordano. Questions or concerns?
Similar grant. Same money, same transportation money, it's 90% funded, the remainder will come out of the reserve account. That's the third resolution you'll be doing, is to move the remainder of that reserve money over to cover our 10% share.
Any other questions or concerns regarding this resolution? There being none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried. The next resolution authorizing the county treasurer to transfer the available surplus remaining in the transportation department accounts for year-end 2016 into the transportation reserve fund for the purchase of equipment. Resolution to that effect by Mr. Giordano and a second by Mr. McNally. Questions or concerns?
And this is just every year when we have surplus funds in transportation, we move them to the reserve account to pay for these kinds of additional costs.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Carried. Anything else to come before Human Services? We are adjourned.